I'm gonna do a story thing again. My face is red. Okay, I was I was looking through some old videos that I had made, and I found one where I was doing a story time thing, and it was about just like me. I don't know how to describe it a whole lot. But I had mentioned that I had more stories, and one was from when I was around 12. And so I have that story here, and I'm going to try and say it really quickly before my mom gets here to take me to work, because I still don't have a license, and it's all her fault. So she should be coming to get me. I'm kidding. When I was 12 years old, I joined this volunteer group that used to be called Yak Attack. It was something that took place in this nonprofit building, and I was involved with other things in this building before I actually joined this volunteering program. But whenever I turned 12, they're like, hey, we have a volunteering program. Do you want to join it? I'm like, yes, I do. And so I did. It later turned into YVC, and I was in this group until I turned 16. This was a summer volunteer group that lasted maybe 2 or 3 months. We would get together 4 days a week and do some volunteer work. We also had fun sometimes, like camping for a weekend, or going to see a movie, or going to the pool one day. I ended up with over 400 volunteer hours through this group. No joke, I think after everything was said and done, it was 407 hours that I managed to accumulate from the age of 12, I think, till the age of 15. Yeah, because when I was 16, I got a job. Yeah, when I turned 16, I joined a job program in the same building as everything else, and I started working at a restaurant called Claudia's Kitchen over the summer of 2016 from July 13th, because that was the day after my birthday, until school started, because their hours were from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., and that's like school, so I couldn't do both. In September of 2016, I started working at this weird little thrift store that I worked at after school for 2 hours. It started out 2 hours, and then I had been inside the building probably like a dozen times before that, and I never knew that they had a thrift store in there, which is so bizarre to say, because like I had one in there for other things because it was a nonprofit place. And I had been in the store part, but it was completely torn apart and moved around for what the program they were doing. And so I never really knew it was a store, which is so ignorant of me, because I had seen all of the stuff in there that was this store. Yeah, I never knew they had a store until I walked in for the interview. Ironically, I forgot Nikki's name when I walked in for the interview. She was the one interviewing me, and from when I talked to her on the phone until I got there, I forgot her name was Nikki, which is so silly. I still remember parts of the interview perfectly. I started working there through that job program, and they ended up hiring me. Here it is, 2021, and I still work there. I actually quit one time in 2018 for school to go back to go to college, and then 2019, they're like, hey, this lady left, do you want her job? And I'm like, sure, why not? And so I took over Peggy's job, and at the time she was going through accessories and stuff, and I'm still going through accessories to this day. Not much has changed in the past like 5 years, I think. Yeah, 5 years. Dang, I've been there a while. Whenever I went in for the interview, this is just a funny little thing, I had walked there after school because I didn't have a car and I didn't have my license to drive, and it wasn't too far away. It was like a 10-minute walk, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But whenever I got there, I had rocks in my shoes. Just the way I walked, there was a lot of sharp rocks that got stuck up in my shoes. And whenever Nikki walked out of the room to go grab something, I was trying to clean up the mess I made, and she walked in on me doing it. And I felt very awkward. And they ended up hiring me, if I didn't make that clear. They ended up hiring me to work there. And I already said those things. Yeah, I'm one of the reasons I quit, not just because I was in school, but because I could have done it. But there was this girl, Peggy, the one I mentioned before. I didn't really like her. She was the kind of person who had to always know what you were doing all the time, even though she wasn't your boss. There was one time I went to the bathroom, and she said to one of my coworkers, "Where did Ash go?" Of course, this was before I came out. And she's like, "Probably to the bathroom. Why are you worried about it?" She liked to think she was my boss when she wasn't. She doesn't work there anymore. Whenever I went back, I met Sophie. She actually volunteered before that because she had to, where she was living, she needed volunteer hours. I shouldn't talk about her life. And she used, yep. They decided to hire her because she was a good worker. She doesn't work there anymore. She quit, found a job that pays double what she makes now. I would have left for that pay too. I don't know why I still live there. Another employee also quit. Her name was Kelly. She had been working with me since the beginning. She was there a year before I got there. I have 2 jobs now, and I've had 2 jobs for like 3 or 4 months. June, July, 3 months. It's a bit tiring, honestly, and the reason these videos might not be super long or super good is because I work 2 jobs and I work 12 hours a day, except for on the weekends. Then I only work 4 or 5 hours. But point being, I work a lot. There's a new girl that started in Sophia's room. Her name's Amanda, and she's very quiet. I don't like how she's so quiet and stuff. And there's Tressa there, and my boss tried to start drama between all of us. Not Amanda, but between me and Tressa, by telling her that I was trying to get her fired, which is bullshit. Nikki was, and she wanted us to find proof so that she could, and she never did. Now me and Tressa get along pretty well. Anyways, I've been talking for too long, and I have to go to work now, so bye.